this is going to be the rebuild of the DTR engine I took apart with the gearbox problem. I'm just going to show the gearbox problem. So if you've seen the other video, at the end I didn't take the gear shaft apart because it didn't have me pull handy, but now it's done. And this was the problem. Just put the torch on. You can, I think it's that side. There's I think that's there. Like up there, there's like a lip. And you can see. Don't know if it's gonna focus. Move that out from here. There's like wear marks in there, and that's got a lip. You can just see it. The little lip there. There's a lip there as well. Don't know what's caused it, but and there's on the shaft. There's that bit there. I don't know if that's had anything to do with it as well. But when that goes on, it's meant to go on that way. Yeah. But see, you were to put it on that way, just for an example. It slides up and down there, and then when it gets to the top, to that part, it's jamming it there. See the little mark? That's jamming it. So it'll move all the way down till it comes to this top part. But I don't know what's caused it anyway. You can see there. You can see the scrape marks a bit better. If you try to put it on the proper way, it won't go on. It won't. Like I had to pull this off when it was stuck down there. Anyway, I've got a new gear shaft to put on. I'm putting new gear forks, selector forks in as well. And I've got the front sprocket bearing to go in. Get it open. Front sprocket bearing. This is just came today, that's why I'm doing the engine. Got the new gasket set. Got the seal kit and the two main bearings. I'm going to be putting the main bearings in the freezer. This is the main bearings. That one. That one. I showed before the front sprocket bearing. So I'm going to put these in the freezer for an hour, and then in an hour's time I'm going to start the video. And if you want to watch the video of the engine getting took apart, I'll put the link up in the screen now. So it's been about an hour and a half. I'm going to get the bearings out of the freezer. I'm going to put the main bearing into this side, and the main bearing and the front sprocket bearing into this side. All you do, heat this case up for maybe 5-10 seconds with a blowtorch, and then with these being in the freezer, it makes them smaller. And the heat on this side, when you put heat round there, opens that a touch, so they can just tap in kind of easy. And that's that side in. When you're tapping it in, when it seats, when it gets to the bottom where it should be, the noise changes, so you know it's sitting where it should be. And then we're going to do this other side. And that's the front sprocket bearing in. Like I see it, when you're tapping it in, the noise will change when it gets to the bottom where it should be seated. And we're going to do the crank bearing now. And that's the other main bearing in. Now we're going to put the crank seals in. Just remember, this side crank seal is different to the other crank seal. And this is the crank seals, one's different to the other. The one with the smaller diameter in the middle goes into that casing on your flywheel side, so it pops in there like that. I'm going to put that in now, and that's that side in. Just remember to bang it down so it's all flush with that lip. And remember, it's the smaller diameter on this side, the flywheel side. It's your left casing, so just remember that. Then we're going to get this one with the bigger diameter, which goes into this casing. And then what I like to do is put the crank in from this side. We're going to get our box of bits, and you want the big collar like that. That big cog out, the one with the little notch on it, which is there above my thumb. Got the primary drive, primary drive's cog as well. Primary drive spacer as well, which is that one, which looks like that. And a tip on these, if you maybe loosen that one thread with your impact, because these are tight, then loosen this one out. You'll only get it out with an impact, if not you'll round it. Anyway, take it out and it just slides down there. You just slide it down there gently out the way. It doesn't bend or nothing like that, as long as you've took that out a thread, so that can move, and you just slide that there out the way. So when you get your crank pulled through, you can put your other sprocket in the gear, the idler on, and then get your crank. You can put it in the freezer. Sometimes they just slide straight over this main bearing from this side. Just remember that's your crank, your flywheel side of the crank. It'll have your slot for your semi-circular woodruff key. So just remember to put it in the right way. We'll see if this goes in. Just make sure you keep your rod up here. I'll have to pull this through because it's not sliding through. Sometimes if you're lucky it just slides through with these. Anyway, we're going to get the puller on, pull that crank through. You just screw that part on the crank, put that part on, then you put that bolt through there. That screws on there, it goes in the extractor and takes it off. And it should be looking something like that, with your crank puller onto that side of the crank. And when it's tight, just always make sure your rod's up where it's meant to be, up there, out the way. So it's, when this closes, your rod's up here instead of your rod being down there. Just make sure it's here. You could even cable tie it onto somewhere to keep it up. And now you just keep hold of it. Anyway, I'm going to find a big spanner and put it onto that. Put it onto the end of there and pull the crank through. And then we'll just tighten this nut in and it'll pull the crank where it's meant to be. crank pulled through nice and easy. And take this crank puller off now. Then you can just put your crank tool to one side because we're going to be needing it later. And now what I like to do, because this engine's going to be sat flat like that now, I like to get a square support, because when it's sat flat, all these shafts are sticking through with that shaft. As you can see, it's not. So if you put that flat on here, them shafts are going to hit this. Anyway, I'll show you what I'm going to do. But first, I'm going to put the colour in there. Just put a bit of oil on it. That's the colour. Just a bit of oil in the middle, a bit of oil around the outside. I've already put a bit of oil around the middle of this crank seal. And that just slides in like that. Sometimes when I do them, you can leave that on the baffler plate and the crank slides out, and then when the crank slides out, you can take this big cog out. It saves trying to loosen these when your hands is all oily. Anyway, let's get the stand. And that's my stand. It's just 4 pieces of wood knocked up together. Just sits nice, so none of your, like I said before, so none of your shafts are sitting on the floor. Anyway, we're going to get the balancer shaft in, the gearbox, the selector drum, the forks, gasket around this surface, and then slide this half of the casing on. We'll probably have to pull it on as well, because they're normally tight this side. I've got your balancer shaft. The end with the threads on goes through like that, and this is at the top up that way, so that goes through the casing like that. Put a bit of oil around there, and just drop her in. It just sits like that. Then we're going to put the gearbox in now, and then we've got your gearbox, which is tricky, but it goes in that way. This is where your front spotter goes. It should be all flush, and that's flush with that. Them 2 cogs are flush at the top. These 2 cogs are flush at the bottom. And when you put it in, this is which way the forks go. You've got number 3 at the bottom, number 1 at the top, and remember you've got that little circlip at the bottom of the shaft. So that's what it looks like, and that it's going in that way into this slot like that. So that's what they look like. Well, just remember that goes in first, and that little circlip stops this rod from going through. But when you put it in, you've got to put the two forks into the runners where they go, and then you've got to put your selector drum. The top one goes into the top runner, the bottom one goes in the bottom runner. You put it in and you get it all in and put it in like that as one unit. So these 2 forks should be lining up with these runners. As you see, that notches into this run and that notches into this run. Just make sure you've got it all like that. Then slide it in. Don't worry about this fork yet, what goes on the middle. So I'll show you that in a minute once we get this slid in. And then before everything's all pushed down, that's all in the holes and that, but I haven't pushed it all the way through. Get the other selector fork, which looks like that with a 2 on, and just slide it. Slide it into the groove it goes in. And just push it in like that, and just have it slack like that. You don't need the guide running yet. Now we're going to push all this down, and when you're going to push it in, make sure all these points on the selector drum fit through these gaps so everything can slide through. So you can see this shaft isn't in properly yet, neither is this one. But once that's through like that, you can push everything through Everything should slot down now. And then when everything's near enough in, and the bit I've just showed of the selector drum coming through there, this should all just push down nice and easy now. Just keep it all together. You can just tap it down with softly with your rubber hammer. Then it should all have went in there. So it should be looking like that on that side. So your selector drums all the way through like that. You've got them two shafts. And then you can get this get this fork. Just slide it in, lift it up. This spot here, this cog will lift up and down like that. So you can move this one you put in last about. Anyway, it goes in the middle runner, that one there. Try and lift it up like that. So it'd be looking like that. You can just get that, lift it into the middle run, which goes like that. So all your gears should be looking like that. And then, pardon, then find it. You've got your smaller guide rod. It just pushes through. Just slide it into there. And that's it, that's all in. And it should all turn nicely. Which is looking good. All that one rule, once you've put it in, if them two, if that and that are flush, you know you've done right. If you can see, I'll lift it up and see it's flush. So if that's flush, you know you're on the right track. Right now, we're gonna put because they don't make gaskets for the middle of DTRs. We're gonna put the centre gasket on with blue Yamaha. And almost forgot I was going to show how the selector forks go on. So if you've got, that's your big guide rod, you've got this fork, 55k and a 3. This one goes on first. So it's looking like that. So you've got that on the bottom, number 3, with that that small circlet underneath. Put that on. And then on this one is a number 1 with 55k underneath. That goes on that way. So it's looking like that. One at the top. It's number 3 at the bottom. They'll be looking like that. With both your stoppers here. Because when it goes on, they fit about that sort of distance. And your selector drum goes here. Anyway, I'm going to gasket the middle. And before you put the blue gasket, instant gasket on the middle, you've got 2 of these. Just oil them up because these are made of metal and this case is made of aluminium. So these can rust and it makes the cases hard to get apart. Anyway, you've got 2. One just slots in there. Oops. One just slots in there. Oil in the hole as well. Just slots in there and pushes in. Might have to tap it in a touch with the rubber hammer. And then you've got one which goes here as well. A bit oil in. Oil on there. Oil on the thing as well. It's got some sort of white stuff in the middle. Don't know what that is. Sure. But anyway, that one goes into there. That one fits in nice and easy. This one's kind of hard, I don't know why, but it'll go in. Anyway, we're going to get that in, and then I'm going to gasket it up. And that's that case liner up in now. One there, one here. And then that's all the gasket on. Don't worry how much you put on, because it cannot harm anything. Just remember to do that bit, because if you miss that bit when your case is together, you're going to have an air leak. You're going to be pulling air in through here. Anyway, I'm going to put the top case on now. Just remember, before you put the top case on, just oil all these. And get your top case. Slide it on gently. It should all just nip up. You just tap it down gently. We're going to have to pull this side on as well. Just tap it. Then we're going to get the tool on this side and push it down. And we're just going to tighten this tool in. We'll draw the cases together. Just it is slippy. There's no way to keep hold of. And that's it. That's all nipped up nicely. Take this tool off now. But that's all the case is done. So you don't worry about your blue Yamaha on the bottom, because you can wipe it off afterwards. It's heavy. Right, we're going to take this tool off. And your crank, just check your crank spins freely after you've nipped the cases up. Check that. I always check that as I'm doing it. If it's nice and slack, you know it's going on perfect. Anyway, we're going to get the case bolts on now. And then on this part you've got 5 bolts to go in. Maybe, oops, 2 which are longer than all the others. And there for the steerer. I'll just put them in and not tighten them up. So that one goes in there, and a couple of threads. That one goes in there. And then you'll be left with them 3. These 2 is longer than that one. The 2 long ones go in them 2 holes. And then the shorter one goes in this hole here. And then you've got your other case bolts, which I'll put in. And that's your case bolts. Down here there should be 8. Let's put them up there so you can see them. There's 1 which is short, 4 the same length which are a bit longer, 2 which are a bit longer, and there's this one the longest. So this one, the shortest of the lot, goes in that hole. and the longest of them all goes in that hole, which is on there. And these four, which are shorter than these two, one goes in there, one goes in there, one goes in that one, and your last short one goes in there. And then you're left with two long ones. One goes in there. I don't know if you can see it. One goes into that hole, and the other long one goes into that hole there. And then we can tighten them all up. When you put them in, if you do get muddled, just make sure that they all normally just sit out like a centimetre before you tighten them in, so you know you've got them in the right holes. Anyway, we're going to tighten all these case bolts up with the impact driver. Remember to leave the two stator screws slack. And when you tighten them, do them in sequence again, like just nip them all up gently, and then maybe snip that one up, then that one, then nip that one, then nip that one, then nip this one, nip that one, nip this one, nip that one, nip this one, nip this one, just all in sequence. Don't just tighten all the back end up and leave the front end separated around a bit. And that's all the case bolts all tightened up. I've left the two stator ones slack. You can check, yeah, make sure your crank's alright, running freely. You can get your feeler gauge as well. It's normally 1 pound, it's already on at 1.7 at the top there, 0.17. It's just down both sides, make sure it's all alright. Now we're finished on this side for the time being, so just spin it round. Make sure the gears is all turning, which they are. It's best to, when you're turning it, always turn your front spotter. But anyway, that's neutral on your selector shaft, the bit without the point on. All these are gears, that point, that point, that point. So when you put the tensioner on, make sure you're working at neutral. See, that's the gears there, so it's all working now. Just remember to turn it. Turn your front spotter shaft as you go on. But anyway, just remember that's neutral, and we're going to keep it in neutral when we're working. That bit without the point on there, that bit there, and then we're going to put the tensioner on. It's that part, it goes on that way with your little 10mm with the countersunk part. Then you've got a spring, it goes on like that. So that part's going into the casing, and then that is like that. We want that hitting neutral on the little groove I've just showed. We're going to put a little bit of Loctite on that thread as well. It goes into here, and get this little circle of the tensioner onto neutral, and you'll have no problem getting it on. And that's it, nipped onto neutral. Like that. And now we're going to put this on. Just remember that little notch faces upwards, just slide your baffle around out the way, so that misses the cog when it goes on that little bit. There's your notch. It just slides on like that. You can see the hole at the top where the little woodruff key goes there. It's lined up there. And it's best to put the woodruff key in now rather than put your idler gear on, then try and get the woodruff key through this cog and this cog. So we'll put the little woodruff key in now. Which is that one. Just remember there's a shorter one, but that one, push it in. It just slides in. Slides in like that. So it's in there. Then we'll put the idler gear on. Get a bit of oil on it. Just oil inside. And the idler cog and the primary drive can go on, I mean. And it just slides over the woodruff key. And then there's the primary drive spacer, which is it's not that one. I found it and it looks like that. It goes into there. Just don't get it muddled up with the flywheel one. That's the flywheel one. And that's your primary drive one. Anyway, we just put it in. And just nip the bolt up. We can't tighten it yet until we get this balancer shaft on, which is this one, and it'll have a circle on, a little notch there. That notch lines up with this notch here. That notch there. So we'll put the woodruff key in first, which is the small one, which is that one. Then just make sure that is lined up with that and just slide it on so that's lined up with that. Then we're going to put the lock on tab and the nut on. Which is that one with the little cutout, and that's the nut. There's two of these on the engine. One goes here, one goes on the clutch. Anyway, just put that on. Put the nut on, and then we can put the penny in there to lock these two cogs, to tighten that up, and then we'll put the penny into there to lock this nut on. So firstly, we're going to tighten this one. Just put the penny into there, keep it in with your fingers, just till it nips. Once it starts turning, you can let go of your penny, and this tightens clockwise just as a normal bolt does. Just tighten it up. Then when it's tight, you can get your more grips. You can see, if you watched the video of taking this apart, I didn't bang it all the way down, so you can get behind it, or you can get a chisel behind it and tap it down. But it does if you can get your pliers behind it, it does nip up, and you just nip it over. And then once it's banged down, it should look like that. So it's bent over and it's stopping the nut from spinning. Anyway, we'll tighten this one up now. You put the penny in the other end, just slots in there, just nip it up, and then just tighten it up with your penny in, and that tightens up clockwise as well. Then remember to take your penny out. Then we're going to put this baffler plate back on now, with a little bit of Loctite in this hole. Now we're going to put the gear shaft on, but first I'm going to put the gear stick seal on. Just rub all that and put oil on it, just because that's got to slide through the gear stick seal. Just get this smooth as you can. And it should just slide out. Nice and easy. Just give that a clean. We've got that new seal to go in. Around the seal, on the inside as well. It should just push in, just make sure it's all level. Just push it in till it's flush. Try and get a little socket on top of it. It's all nice and flush. And then we're going over this side. Slide the gear stick shaft in. And it just slides over that metal stopper there. Should be looking like that. Just remember, put this on before you put the clutch basket on. You'll have to take the clutch basket off again to put that on. Right, next we're gonna put the Kickstart Idler on next. And on the Kickstart Idler, that's the cog. It's flat on the back, flush. On the front it's deep dish. It goes on that way like that, but you've got two washers, what look like that, and you've got two circlips. One circlip goes on first, so this circlip goes on first. It on, and then you've got a washer, put a bit of oil on it, then you've got the cog, just a little bit of oil around the back, which goes on that way, and you've got your other washer, just put a bit of oil on it, goes on like that, and then your final circlip, which is that one, just slots on the top like that. That's it on. Now we're going to put the Kickstart shaft in. This goes on first with that on the back, facing the back way, so it goes like that. You want that on the right hand side and this on the left, because this fits into there and this stops on that stopper there. Anyway, you've got that with a little hole in there. Big washer goes on now, like that. You've got a spring like that, which goes with that way, that's at the back. And that fits into that hole there. If you can see, slots into the hole like that. Just keep a hold of it. And then you've got this white colour with a notch in there. That, and that's how you want the white part sitting over the spring, like that. So the groove on the white plastic part sitting over the spring, keeping the spring in. And it should be looking like that. Then just fit it on. Just remember that part of the, if you can see it, that part of the spring fits into this hole here. You've got this part here of the spring, which we're going to pull around, and it goes into that hole there. And pull the spring round into that hole. Just push it in. That's it. And that's it on like that. That part into the top. And then we're going to put this drive on, this white drive. It's got two washers. They look like that. One goes on the front, one goes on the back. Put this on first, because if you put the other drive on, you kind of get the washer on. Anyway, one washer goes there. You've got the white part and another washer there. But this watches you assembling it, because that white washer might drop off. Then we're gonna slide the drive down, tighten it up. It just tightens up with a 10mm, which is that one. Then we're nearly done. Just have a final check, make sure you've done everything. Now the ball bearing goes into here with the push rod. The push rod goes in first, then the ball bearing. So I'm going to get that now, find it, and put them in. And that's the push rod, and that's the ball bearing. Just coat the push rod in oil. She just slides in there like that. Push it all the way through as far as you can get it, and then you've got your ball bearing. It's oiled up off my fingers, so put that in. And then remember your fin washer for the back of there, which is somewhere. And that's your fin washer. It is concaved. It's like a C shape. You can't really see it on camera, but the C, it goes like that to the engine. So that goes on. Then you've got this big metal washer. Get some oil on it. That goes on. Slide the clutch basket on. And there's another spacer. Which looks like that, with splines in. That goes on next. Give it oil, both sides. And then you can fit your inner clutch. I have got a video how to fit clutch plates, so I'm not going to show on this video putting the clutch plates on. If you check my other videos, you'll see the video how to put the clutch plates on properly and line them up. And then put your clutch holding tool on to keep the middle bit still of your clutch. You've got that locking tab. And that goes on first. Slots in there. Then you've got this nut, just put the nut on. And tighten it up. Just remember you've got this tool on, you're keeping a hold of it. It keeps everything tight. Because if you didn't have this on, this just spins when you try and tighten it or loosen it. So we're going to tighten this up. And then when the nut's tightened up, this locking tab, you bend it over. And that's the locking tab bent over. Now I'm going to put the clutch plates on. Like I see, I've got another video how to put the clutch plates on. Just it saves time on this video. But these are dry, so I'm going to oil these up before I put them on. Anyway, check my other videos for the clutch plate installation. And that's all the clutch plates on. Then oil that. With a push rod. And on the top of your outer clutch, you've got that circle there. There's a circle on the top of the inner basket there. That circle's got to line up with that. So push that on there. Slide straight on. Then we've got your 5 springs to go on with the 5 little bolts. That's them there. Just remember, always use a socket to put these in. If you put a screwdriver in, you just end up rounding them. And when you're tightening them on, do them in sequence. If you do that one, then tighten that one, then tighten that one, then that one, then tighten that one, that one. Just so it all goes on evenly. Then I'm going to clean all this old gasket off. But first, I'm going to put the front sprocket cover and the front sprocket seal in. See, there's not much left in the box now. Get your front sprocket cover. Put the seal in first. That's the new seal. Just oil around the outside, oil around the inside. We'll get it in by hand. And then an important thing, make sure you oil this up properly. I've had tons of bikes where this hasn't been oiled and it's rusted onto this shaft. It makes it a hard job. Split the engine, so like I say, plenty of oil in this part, this bush, a little bit round there where it goes in, where it's going to be touching the seal. It just pops in, it doesn't matter which way, it can go in anyway. Slide it in like that. That's it. And then back onto this side now. Take that off there. Well, I've just been on about the gasket. Get the clutch casing. I've got a water pump seal to go in it. And then we're nearly done. And that's them both out. Just give them a rub down and put a bit of oil on them. Kind of hardish to get out then. See the rust in them on them. Anyway, just rub them down, oil them up, One goes there, one goes there. That's the new gasket on. You can see some hoses off, but I like to, when I put the casing on, put all the bolts, before I've locked the casing up, put all the bolts through, so they're going through the casing and through all these holes before I lock this case up, and then at the end you're not going through bits of the gasket, because if I just push the case on now, it's going to end up offline, and you're just going to end up putting a bolt through there and everything, rubbing that bit off, and if that's offline you're putting the bolt through there, so it's best. I'll show you anyway. That's the water pump impeller off. I'm going to pop that seal out. There's a new gasket to go on the oil pump. And when you're taking the water pump seal out, you can get a drift into that hole and bang it out from this side, because they're hard to get out any other way. And it just bangs out. I'm going to be cleaning all this off as well for the new gasket. I'm going to put this seal in first, just like the others. Oil around the outside. I'm going to put a bit of grease in. There might be grease already. There's already grease in it. So I'll be putting that on, putting this water pump seal on, put this casing on, and I've got the Kickstart seal to go in as well. I forgot about that. And the seal goes on that side like that. It's normally got water side written there, but this one hasn't. But that goes like that, and that flat all flush around there goes like that. So it should be looking like that. Right, we're just gonna drift this in with a socket, because I'll not be able to push this one in by hand. That's the water pump seal in, and to fit the water pump shaft the right way it goes is that in first, and have a little washer, which is that thin one. The washer slides over, and then there'll be a little metal pin like that. There's a hole in that shaft that slides through there like that. Just try and keep it centered so this cog fits over. And then that bit on the cog slides over the bar, over the little pin. Just went on straight away, which was good. And then there's another washer somewhere there. Another washer, it's just the same as the other washer. That goes on. And then you've got a circlip like that, what goes on. Just clip it on. Should be looking like that. Right, I'm just going to put this casing on now, and then when I put the case back on, all these bolts I've put in, I am changing these because some of them are rounded, but they're just in so I can get the gasket on properly. So I can just see, now which screw is going to go through which bolt's going to go through the holes properly. Just fit it on like that. Just put that on. Just slide that one through into its hole, and then slide them all through just to make sure they're all going through the gasket holes, which they all are. So it's just like that, it's not on properly, but you can see all the screws is going through all the right holes, so the gasket isn't going to be offline. And then when it's all through, you just go around and knit them all up till I put some more bolts in. And that's it all done. See these, I've just nipped these up just so the gasket would fit, but the gasket's on properly, so I can take these out one by one. I'll take that one out, put a new one in, take that one out, put a new one in, and so on. I've got to wait for a piston and rings for it now, which is supposed to be on Wednesday next week, and it's Saturday the day, so next video will be putting the reeds on, putting the barrel and head on, putting the piston in, and then putting the engine into the bike, and first start, first drive and stuff like that. Alright, thanks for watching.